Hello. Welcome to At the Table with Daz and Slinga. Slinga will be joining us shortly. While he's setting up, I want to read something to you that I try to practice. Being willing to give up being willing to give up some of the things you love in order to focus on what has the greatest impact is an easy lesson to learn. But the earlier you embrace it, the sooner you can dedicate yourself to excellence in what matters most. So, what I want you to ask yourself is, am I dedicated to removing distractions and mental clutter so that I can concentrate with clarity on the real issue? So whatever, hi Kim, hi Mark, hi Dee Dee, thank you all for joining us. So, those are some things that's a question to ask yourself about what it is that you really want to focus on. What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to dedicate yourself? Because, once you make that commitment to say, I'm going to do whatever, what then happens is, all of the things you don't want, that's what they start to present themselves. So it then becomes an obstacle that's in your way, and it becomes harder for you to achieve your goal because it's usually something that you really like. So for instance, ladies, I know we can all attest to trying to lose weight, right? Then that's when you go to work, or then that's when you go somewhere and they have all of this good food around. Hi, Ramona. And now you're like, wait a minute, on the day that I'm trying to start my diet is when they have this food. And it's always food that you really like. So it's like, am I going to be dedicated and start today like I planned, or and say, look, I'm going to forego the cupcakes, the chicken, the burgers, or whatever it is that you like. Are you going to forego, leave that alone and commit to what your goal is? Or are you going to say, I'll start next Monday? And if you say you're going to start next Monday, no need to beat yourself up. But it's just something to think about. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll begin to be able to accomplish your goals. All right? So, hey, Slinga.
What's up? What's up, everybody? You should put it this way. Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. That's
right,
good.
There we go.
Right?
What's up, everybody?
So, what do you think about what I just said?
Give me a brief recap, because I didn't really hear everything.
I was just talking about, dedicating yourself. When you're dedicated to something, giving up the mental clutter, giving up, sacrificing, in other words, the things that you don't need for the things that you do need, and to get to the goal that you want to achieve.
Well, to me, that all equates to discipline. Learning how to become disciplined. You can't really do much of anything as far as personal development is concerned, and unless you discipline yourself. So
hi, Alicia.
Yeah, that's a really complicated thing to do is become disciplined. But
hi, Jeanette.
Once you become disciplined, I think you can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yes.
Kick it off, because I know you have some really good things.
Right. So we're gonna start off today. Thank everybody for tuning in. The Daz and Slinga, you got the table right now. So we're gonna talk about some topics, and but we're gonna start today. We're gonna start with me, and my movement, the A Father's Love movement. We out here and we moving, and it's just basically we advocate for the honor of fathers who love their kids, not just the biological fathers, but stepfathers, father figures, mentors, any male role model, uncles that's been like a father figure, any male father or father figure that has been in your life, or that's been in our lives. We A Father's Love is geared towards acknowledging them. Not to compare ourselves to the women, because the women are the creators of, to me, I think, the black woman is God, but that's a story for another day. They're always praised. Our women are always praised. So now, A Father's Love is just geared towards recognizing and highlighting the fathers out there and the father figures out there that put out their all and do the best they can by their children. You know what I mean? Single fathers, fathers that are in relationships, nobody's excluded. Grandfathers, stepfathers, every father it's just highlighting a father's love highlights fathers and their characteristics. So we have, and it's stemmed off a web series that I created. That's loosely based on my life and my experiences. I created a web series called A Father's Love, and so that's the beginning of it. And then that turned into an apparel company, and now it has blossomed into a foundation. So the foundation is going to it's still in the grassroots
Kevin, hey Tracy
process, but we're going to start putting funds into taking fathers places and salute Keith. Yeah, that's one of my boy Deuce. I'm gonna salute you too right now, brother. His son just graduated from Syracuse University. Syracuse University. I'm from the hood, so I say Syracuse. I know it's Syracuse, but I say Syracuse.
I know you're a professor. I know you know the difference.
Thank you very much. Shout out to you, Deuce, and your son. We definitely had a segment. It's interesting that we got a segment at the end of it that we're gonna dedicate to all the children that everybody that graduated this year. But shout out to you, Deuce, for being that positive father figure. You know what I mean? That love and that support that you gave your son to get him to the point of even wanting to go to college, and then actually going through the 4 years with him to get him through that. That's a phenomenal feat, especially from where we come from. So I take my hat off to you for that, Deuce. You know what I mean? Congratulations to you and your son. So yeah, a father's love is that. It's geared towards acknowledging fathers. Like, we got to do that, especially fathers of color. We don't get the proper acknowledgement in anything that we do, but it's a grain, it's a group of black men these days, men of color that are out here putting on for their kids, taking care of them, being the fathers for them that they didn't have in their lives, or being the fathers for them that they did have in their lives. It's all about love. It ain't about discriminating or nothing. If you didn't have a father, if you're whatever, every father gets love. So basically, a father's love is just highlighting that. We got the clothes, my clothes, the father's love apparel is not just something to wear, and it's not. I'm not trying to be keeping up with the Joneses and being in the trends. I love you too, Deuce. I'm not trying to keep up with the trends with the clothes. The clothes is a badge of honor. If you see a man with this on, or a woman, because young women could wear it too. We got different stuff. This is a badge of honor. When you wear a father's love, look at it as a badge of honor, like you would look at a polo sign. Like when you wear a polo sign, you're like, all right, I got on polo. Why? Why do you rep that? Why is polo important? Why is Gucci important? Why is Louis important? We make them important. So this right here, let's make this important. A father's love, an African American, a father of color, love should be recognized, loved, and respected. So this is what we out here trying to do, and we're not excluding anybody. Everybody is welcome, but it's just based off of my experience. So check us out. We got fatherslove54.com and a fatherslove54 at Gmail.
Oh, you got a website?
Yes, I definitely. Yeah, we just got the website up and running, right? So it's a fatherslove54 at .com, excuse me, and it's a fatherslove54 at Gmail, and it's a fatherslove54 at Instagram. The reason that it's 50 or 54 and everything is that's where I'm from. 54th Street is the heart of Far Rockaway. It's the middle of Edgemere Project.
Hey, Sherry.
And that it goes with me everywhere. If it wasn't for 54th Street, I wouldn't know how to be. You know what I mean? It taught me how to be real. It taught me how to be compassionate. It taught me how to be so many things. So anyway, A Father's Love. Check us out on those 3 sites. I don't want to talk too much about that, but A Father's Love is the movement. So we're gonna get into the some topics tonight, y'all. I'm into hip hop a lot, so we're gonna start with hip hop. Let's talk about Meek Mill's.
Didi shared our video.
Okay,
thank you for that, Didi.
Thank you, Didi.
Share your video. Share the videos with your audiences, please.
Yeah, we need to get our views up. So if you could just share it, if you watching, just share it so we could get our views up. You know what I mean? Because there's good things coming behind that. You know what I mean? So just if you could share it for us, we greatly appreciate it. So we talking about right now. We talking about Meek Mills. Meek Mills. A shout out to Meek Mills. So we want to know, how do y'all feel about Meek Mills not going to the White House to talk to Donald Trump and his what you call that his cabinet, what you call that?
The president's cabinet.
Yeah. His people about prison reform. So Meek Mills got invited to speak at the White House to Donald Trump and his officials about prison reform, and Jay-Z advised him not to go to it. So we want to know, like, what y'all think about Meek Mills not going to the White House to talk about prison reform. Daz, what you think?
Honestly, I didn't hear about that. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing because, as far as I'm concerned, we are president-less right now. Barack Obama is still my president, and Michelle Obama is still a FLOTUS. So I'm just like a ostrich with its head in the sand,
right?
When it comes to a president, because when you ask me who my president is, I'm going to tell you Barack Obama.
Copy.
When you ask me who my FLOTUS is, I'm going to tell you Michelle Obama. So if the president asked him to come to the White House, I think he should have gone to the White House. But since we don't have a president, then I don't think he should have gone. So that's my take on it.
Anybody feel free to chime in anytime you want to. For me,
hey Doc Tracy and Soror.
I feel that
she told me to move over so you can get on the screen.
Okay. As far, I think it's a double-edged sword. He could have went, and I understand why he didn't go.
Well, why did he say he didn't want to go? Just because Jay-Z told him?
In a statement that he released, Meek said that he didn't go. One of the reasons that he didn't go because it would have been more about him and Donald Trump than actually it being about prison reform. So he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go discuss that with them because it would have been a fiasco.
Gotcha.
Instead of a thing about actually getting something done about prison reform.
Okay. So what are your thoughts about that? If you all I haven't heard about it, so I don't know. Yeah. But if you all have heard about it,
what do you think?
Let us know what you think. Send us your comment.
I think that Meek is in a good position right now.
Absolutely.
Because about his case, like there was some things like the on his original case, not the probation situation, but the reason that he was on probation, it was due to he got arrested by a cop that later came out to be a dirty cop. So a lot of his convictions in Philly have been overturned because he was a dirty cop, and he was the he was the officer the cop that arrested me. So now they trying to go in and just eradicate his whole case because the cop that arrested him initially was a dirty cop. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So it's a lot of things like that going on.
Absolutely.
with us. Like it was a cop when in my hood growing up. His name was Henson. And Henson was a dirty cop too. He got a lot of people. He got a lot of people locked up and sent upstate. A lot of my friends went upstate behind getting locked up by Henson,
destroying the family.
He was a dirty cop. You know what I mean? So I'm sure if they open up some of his cases, a lot of the people that I grew up around that got prison cases, will probably get them overturned too. And that's just with a lot of young people throughout the country.
And young people and people who do not have money to have a retainer.
Somebody speak for them.
A lawyer on retainer.
If you don't, this is good that Meek is bringing. This Meek situation
Sandy.
is bringing it up because it sheds light on people who don't have a voice.
Absolutely.
So how many people have been locked up and did prison time and nobody cared? So they didn't have a voice. So they just in jail for nothing.
And can I take it a step further? Because having been a former juvenile probation officer, the thing that I understand is that it starts when they're young.
Yes.
So they grow up in the system believing that the system is against them, which it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they begin to believe at an early age that they're not worthy and that they're not worthy of having a mouthpiece.
Right.
And they don't know that the difference between a mouthpiece in many instances is having money and not having money. It's a rare case where you see a public defender or it's not called a public defender in juvenile court, but you see a rare case
it's a family court lawyer.
Right, and I forget the term now, but it's a rare case where someone will honestly come in and want to make a difference and really take the time to get to know that young man and really fight on his or her behalf.
Well, I agree, but what I want to say in the grand scheme of things, like prison is really a modern day form of slavery. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's a way to get people, like when you're in prison, you have a job, and you working in the jail. So the jail is the farm now. You know what I mean? So there's no more farms, but the prison is the farm, and the prisoners get paid pennies to run the jail, so the town can function. So where every jail is, it's a surrounding town that the people in the town are fed off of that jail, off of that prison. So it's a system, and basically what us, like, they just changed the way they enslave us. You know what I mean? So it's not we're gonna outright put you in slavery. We're gonna be like, all right, we're gonna make a list of crimes and things and set you up and coerce you to behave and do, so we can take you over here and make you be a slave. So
I disagree with you. I believe that it is a system of slavery, because the Constitution says that the only way that slavery is legal is through the penal system.
Right. So we saying the same thing. Why you
no,
disagree?
because you said that it's not. In a way, you said that it's not slavery, but it's like slavery.
No, I said it's modern day slavery.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So yeah, it is. So that the Constitution upholds it, and that's why they will build more prisons than they will schools.
Right. So,
and let me just say this, because Doc Tracy, Empower Oneself, she's also an educator. She's a principal,
right.
And she said, so she knows firsthand. She said it starts in the school system with suspension, schoolyard to prison yard pipeline.
Definitely school
Absolutely.
Prison pipeline, definitely.
And different. It also starts because they have different sections where certain things are learned in one section and it's not taught in another section. And they treat the students different in one section and in another. And that's why you can't allow your kids, you're not supposed to allow your kids or your children to go to schools outside of their district.
Right. Well, I want to say this as being a former...
Hi, Nelly.
A former at-risk youth that went through the juvenile justice system.
Hey, Scoochie.
And became overcame that and became an educator. I understand fully the system from the inside and the outside. You know what I mean? So knowing like I understanding slavery and understanding how like some young black boys are kidnapped off the street. Like, we'll use the Central Park 5. Right? Them young men did not do anything to that lady. They took 5 young men that they saw and they sent them to jail for a rape that didn't even happen.
That they knew didn't have a mouthpiece or the money to get a mouthpiece.
Like he and we're gonna leave this alone because it could go so far. But what I'm gonna say is this: he who controls the media controls common perception.
Absolutely.
Right? So the people that control the media control what most people think because they put the images out there. So they just depict us in a certain kind of way. So society won't be mad at them for snatching us up, for killing us and doing all that type of stuff. So Meek Mill's case sparks a lot of it's just touched the tip of the iceberg in regards to how slavery has been elevated into a way of the prison system. So slavery, the word slavery is no good. So they had to change it to prison reform. So prison and slavery is the same.